This is Farming Forward.
From politics to global events, from social issues to breaking news, Lead Story Prime dives deeper, cuts through the noise, and uncovers the stories that shape your world. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Lead Story Prime with me, George Davis, for an hour of incisive analysis, expert interviews, and unparalleled coverage of the issues you care about. Lead Story Prime, your front row seat to the most compelling discussions. Lead Story Prime, where the truth comes first. Only on CVM TV.
Oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her. Oh, me, see it happen on CVM TV. I'm out.
This is CVM News at Noon. It's Tuesday, May 13, 2025. I'm Courtney Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. Clarendon residents are celebrating the news of 9 new school buses en route in the parish come September. However, with claims of criticism from political figures, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz has made an urgent plea for individuals to leave politics out the children's business.
And he was saying that the bus is an old bus. The bus have how much 100,000 miles on it, and the bus is already back in Kingston at the JUTC depot because it broke down already. Which is totally untrue, but that's not the part that hurt me. The part that hurt me is that somebody could be that evil to wish that a school bus that is transporting the children in a safe, organized manner, they would want it to broke down for political purposes. Let me tell you something. The team hurt me till I don't sleep last night. Because that is what you call bad mind, bad mind, bad mind.
There was a heartfelt moment on Mother's Day between Member of Parliament Dr. Angela Brownburg and those women in her constituency who give of their best but very often are made to feel otherwise.
Under the bright skies and the vibrant spirit of Mother's Day, dozens of women gathered at the Caribbean Palm Southwest St. Andrew for a moment of food, drinks, celebration and encouragement. Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Andrew, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, used the evening to encourage mothers from the constituency who felt like they're not doing enough.
Sometimes as you're going through, you're not sure whether or not you're doing a good job. I just want you to know, as long as you pour out love, as long as you're understanding, even if it's not always, it's not perfect. You're not perfect as a mother, but if every day you start with the notion that this is your child or the child that you have chosen, show them love, help to build up who they are so that they have faith and confidence in themselves, and that's the most we can do as mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
She shared she's doing her best to reach parents, especially mothers and teachers from the constituency.
And what I've done as Member of Parliament is to try and reach out, as we have done, to do a number of things. We went to a couple of schools and read for Read Across Jamaica Day. We focused on Portia Dreams, and we gave away a couple of books from that was called Portia Dreams, and we spoke about her. And we, for the little ones who didn't know her, we also got them to know about her and ask questions about her and so on. So we did that. For Teachers Day, as I normally do, I do a little cake for each school that allows them to incorporate that in what they're doing. A couple of schools asked for a contribution towards their Teachers Day, so we made that available available as well. And then we also did some tokens for some of the other schools and some of the other teachers. I like to say what I call a survival kit for them, you know, a little wine, a glass from which to drink it, or a little book to write your thoughts, because I also believe that, you know, our teachers need to remember themselves and to take care of themselves.
Amidst all Dr. Burke has done, she believes education is a collaboration between the school, homes, parents, and the community.
We have to talk to our parents about the fact that education is a partnership. It's a partnership between the school and our teachers, the home and our parents, and the community as well, you know, to make sure that the values that we're instilling in our children are values that are celebrated wherever they are, and that they know that we are all looking for the same thing from them. But I believe that certainly after COVID, nobody's taking a teacher for granted these days.
Mothers were reminded to pour out their love and to continue helping with the well-being of their children. Curlin Brown, CVM News.
Speaking on CVM's lead story, advocate and executive director of E for Life, Joy Crawford, says that while the current Sexual Offences Act holds potential, the existing restrictions on access to the sex offenders registry exclude key stakeholders who should be able to obtain such information.
Well, this is no longer on the site, but the original document said that where the applicant, where the appropriate person deemed to receive the information, but is established that the sex offender poses a risk to a particular vulnerable person or class of vulnerable persons, the information can be disclosed to a member of the JCF, the children advocate, or another public authority who can protect that vulnerable person. So what it has said to us is that, you know, it mentions the school, it mentions, you know, workplaces, mention, you know, certain agencies who can go to this registry and apply. However, if I am a victim or I am someone who has experienced the crime and I feel that I am now at risk, I am to go to report it to the police. That's a little problematic because in real life, I've had at least 2 situations where survivors of rape bumped into their perpetrator who was now out of prison or was on bail in the community. And even though there are provisions in what the JCF says to inform or for them to have information as to the whereabouts of this person, that kind of stuff, it is not readily available to the victim and or the survivor.
Yes.
That is the piece that we are concerned about.
Yes.
That they are not part of the group.
Yes.
Meanwhile, constitutional law expert Dr. Lloyd Barnett says the real issue is the lack of proper monitoring. He notes that giving citizens access to the sex offenders registry alone won't address the problem.
It provides for convicted persons in particular cases where orders are made to make reports to the police on not so regular basis unless they are changing their address. And so that what is missing is the real monitoring and control of the persons who pose the risk to the public and just giving it to citizens who are not in a position to control, apprehend, or defend themselves against these predators is not going to be effective.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the Act which deals with the monitoring, control, testing of those persons who pose the risk. And that is where there's a deficiency.
Yes.
It was provided in the Act that it should be reviewed on a regular basis. There has in fact been no review such as is provided for in the Act. And it is essential that we institute a system which is effective.
Fire Fire disasters have the possibility to claim lives and property. However, the Acting Director General for the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, also highlights its economic impact. He was speaking at the Caribbean Association of Fire Chiefs Conference for 2025, hosted by Jamaica.
It is necessary that we continue to put the work in to build resilience in our various territories and countries, and to ensure that we are building anti-fragile economies. One emergency for us, or one major disaster for us, as small and developing states, can totally erode any form of economic gains that we have made throughout the years. We continue to ensure that there is a twin effort between emergency management administrators and the operatives that work in the fire services being classified as our first responders.
Stay with us, more to come after this break.
Jamaican quality for sure. First thing when I wake up, pour up my bulk syrup. Pure water, me can't get enough. Feeling the love in the air. On the beach with my ginger beer. I'm doing low up on cash. Still can't go buy one splash. Squash, load, catch up, road. Pure, have you ready for the road? Pure products, quality for sure.
Excuse me, that looks delicious. Where did you get that pizza?
Pizza Please, best pizza in town.
Pizza Please, the widest variety of pizzas in Jamaica. Grab a slice or order a whole pie. Find us at 4 locations across Kingston and Ocho Rios and at pizzapleaseja.com. Pizza Please, Italian pizzas, Jamaican flavors.
Thanks so much for staying with us. It's time now for our discussion segment. As Jamaica grapples with rising concerns around child safety and sexual abuse, the conversation has turned to the National Sex Offenders Registry and whether it should be made public. Joining us now to help unpack these complex issues and explore the path forward is Priscilla Duhaney. She's the spokesperson for Hear the Children's Cry and attorney at law. Welcome, Ms. Duhaney.
Thank you for having me, Courtney.
So, first question is, what do you believe are the most urgent measures that Jamaica can take or that we must take to better protect our children from sexual abuse?
Well, for certain, we are seeing a rise in sexual offenses, especially amongst our children. And so we definitely need to have a louder voice. And we need to look at, reviewing our legislations, making sure that they have some teeth. It's not just good to have the legislations, but they should be effective. And as a result of that, we are seeing where persons have become seemingly desensitized to what is happening in our society. Criminals seem as though they no longer fear the law because possibly, if anything, they can go to prison for a few and at the end of the day for a few years and so forth, and then they benefit from taxpayers' money and then after a few years they are out. Sometimes they are on bail while things are happening. They are charged but they are on bail, and it's so difficult for the victim to constantly have to experience this over and over again, especially, of course, if it is not coupled with the death. So we are hoping that we can see our laws being reviewed. We want to see individual stakeholders, the church, the parents, schools, the government at large investing in the resources in terms of protecting our children. As we have put out recently, we are thinking that there is a need for a reculturing and reshaping of our society. And so disrupting poor parenting practices, of course, can be part of this system. So we are hoping to see where this 10-year project that which we have made mention of can be rolled out, can be adopted by the government and funded, of course, by the various ministries.
All right. So how far or what is the role of the community awareness and education? How important is this in child protection?
Well, of course, the community is very important. It takes a village to grow a child, as we have always heard. What we are seeing, though, is that the village, the community, the neighborhood has become very silent. If they know of something, nobody wants to inform. No one wants to be held accountable. And so it's very important if we have the community still with us to play a part in protecting our children, reporting things that they see as suspicious or that they find concerning. We want our community, we want to re-energize them, let them feel like they can trust again. To be honest, some of the times it's also because the lack of trust and the fact of corruption within the law enforcement that persons have, decided not to report or bring anything to anybody's attention. They have lost trust and confidence in the justice system.
Right.
But we want to see the community playing more of an active role in reporting.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be back with our discussion segment in a moment.
The time is brought to you by Ford Territory.
Recycling partners of Jamaica. Yeah, we got to make a change, and we have to do it now, can't wait for later. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that will be safer than in the gullies and in the drains. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, yeah, the place of it clean. PET, the top of the ethylene. HDPE, buckle up against screen. Baby to granny, everybody roping. Yeah, we got to go green, you know what I mean. See the sign from the bin, if we drop it in through car window, you fling, that another thing. And we don't want no garbage in this game. No, we handle it up, but them are not the same. So listen up, Jamaica, I'm saying it's time to make a change. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that will be safer than in the gullies in the every rains. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place.
Are you ready for something mega? Megamart's giving away a brand new 2025 Hyundai Tucson. Second prize, a mega shopping spree. Third prize, 30,000 monthly shopping spree. Okay, break it down for them.
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Fill out the entry form on your receipt. Drop it in the box. That's it.
Authorized under Section 52 of the Building Memorials Act.
Welcome back. We're still in our discussion segment. We had to take a quick break there, but we're talking to Miss Priscilla Duhaney. She's a children's advocate and attorney at law, and we're talking about how we can protect our children a little bit more. Now, Ms. Duhaney, there has been growing public demand for Jamaica's sex offenders registry to be made accessible to the public. Now, from a legal and ethical standpoint, what are the potential benefits and the risks of that type of transparency?
Well, to be honest, we are looking more on what we are experiencing in our society now. And what we are seeing is that there is a need for us to take action. And so with that, the the registry must be made public in our views. Really, it deters. We are hoping and expecting that it will hold the offender accountable. If they are aware that this information is public, at any point in time, anybody can or should be able to go on the website or whatever platform we are planning to use to make it public and accessible to the public. Then they would know that, listen, eyes are on them. They are going to have to be very careful in their movement. This will help to prevent repeated actions from these offenders. And so the benefit of it is, one, making people more comfortable in their space, because now they are aware of who they are around. Second, it is also going to prevent the offender, well, it's a preventative measure or a deterrent to deter them from trying to repeat their behavior. And of course, the risk of it is just that, listen, at the end of the day, they might try to do something and they are likely to be caught. And it is easier for us to find out exactly who this person, this suspect could be. Once you are aware that they are in the community or in the neighborhood, your eyes and ears are generally open and you are ready to make a report. I think